We got stuck in the middle of Sifkot and Tes Zayin. Okay, so let's remind ourselves where we're holding. We were discussing the fact that Zoch is a mitzvah deraisa. Everyone has to hear it. And we mentioned that even someone who doesn't live in a place where there's a minyan, he should come to a place where there's a minyan to hear Pasha Zoch. The Mishnah Berurah mentioned that it's even midiraisa to hear it with a minyan, to hear Pasha Zoch with a minyan. So he brought the first opinion he brought was the Trumas Adesha, that it's therefore more important than hearing the Megillah. The Megillah is not a deraisa, whereas Zoch is a deraisa, so one should rather, if one has a choice of either coming to a place with a minyan for Pasha Zoch, the Shabbos before Purim, or on Purim itself, it's more important to come on the Shabbos before Purim to hear Zoch, which is deraisa. However, he then brought the opinion of the Mogen Avraham, who disagrees. The Mogen Avraham says that no, it's deraisa, but mid-deraisa you don't have to hear Parashas Zocha. You can be used with the laning of Purim. Right? And again, let's explain it again. That the war against Amalek happened after they crossed the Yamsuf, right? Which is at the end of Parashas Beshalach. Most of them recounts this at the end of Parashas Kiseitze. Right? In Devarim, right? In Sefer Devarim, when Moshe recounts everything that happened, he also recounts what happened and when Amalek fought them. Right? Parashas Zocha we lane from this recount, the end of Parashas Kiseitze. Right? The laning on Purim is from the actual war, when actual war happened, Vayover Amalek at the end of Parashas Beshalach. So says the Mogen Avraham that if you didn't hear Parashas Zocha, you can be used to the mitzvah deraisa through hearing the laning on Purim. Okay? Therefore, the Mogen Avraham says that someone who can't come to Shul and Parashas Zochor, right? You can choose either to come on Shabbos Parashas Zochor or Purim. He can only do one or the other. There's no way he can manage both. Then it's better that he comes on Purim. He hears the Megillah, and also through the laning, he can be used to the mitzvah deraisa of hearing Parashas of Zechiras Ma'aseh Amalek. It's still not the best. The best is the Midrabon, and they said we should read the parasha of Zochor. Right, and the Pasha Kiseitze. But it's like this person who can't manage both, then that's what he should do to be able to Midrash.
But they're not identical, the two parshas.
No.
Okay.
The reason why we read the Moshe recounting the story rather than the actual story when it occurs is because when we recount the story, that's when Moshe tells us to remember it.
Right, because it happened 38 years earlier.
Remember it, don't forget it.
Right.
When it actually happens, it's just a story. Amalek came and they fought, and it's just the story of what happened.
Right.
But it's in Parshas, what we read as Parshas Zochor, which is from Parshas Kiseitze, the recount, that's when Moshe tells Klal Yisrael to remember it and never forget it. Right? So therefore one should read it. To be able to Mitzvah, one has to read that parasha. But in this case, where he can't do both, then it's better that he should come on Purim. So let's just see now how the Mishnah Berurah is going to paskin. Now we're now on the third, on page Kufnun, right? Page Kufnun, since it's near the end of 7 Tov Reish Pei Hey. There's 2 columns of Mishnah Berurah, right? We're on the second column, but on page Kufnun, 299. There's 2 columns of Mishnah Berurah. We look at the second column. The second column, we're on the 3rd line down. He's brought these 2 opinions now, the Trumas Adesha and Mogen Avraham. He's going to tell us how he paskins. Lani starte ikre dinah shel Mogen Avraham seir tzorich iyun. Toksiv b'Torah zocher eis asher osa v'goymer. Asher korcho b'derech v'yizanei b'cho v'goymer, timche v'goymer. He's talking now about the parasha of Zochor, the end of Kiseitze. There it says, remember what Amalek did, and don't forget what they did. We must not forget what Amalek did to us. We have to tell this over to our children and further generations. And that's why we commanded to wipe them out. So because of this reason we just mentioned, the Mishnah Berurah is not happy with the sack of the Mogen Avraham, right? Because in the parasha, at the end of Parashas Beshalach, which we read on Purim, it tells us what happened. But that's not where, it doesn't say there anything about remembering it and not forgetting it. That's all at the end of Parashas Kiseitze. And therefore the Mishnah Berurah does not accept the sack of the Mogen Avraham. So it sounds like, the Halacha, it sounds like it's probably better to do like what the Trumas Adesha said. Right? Which is if one has a choice, one can't come to a place with a minyan on both Purim and Parshas Zochor. It's more important to come to Parshas Zochor to be able to the deraisa of Parshas Zohar rather than the Megillah, which is not Deraisa.
You don't actually require a minyan for the Megillah, do you?
Right, we mentioned that. Sorry, that's another thing. I forgot that. We mentioned that because the Megillah also one can do without a minyan.
Right.
Right, of course. Yeah, that was the reason. He said that according to most opinions, one could be used to the Megillah without a minyan. Right, that's right.
Because people very often, if someone is ill,
yes,
it's one of the things that people do is they'll go to their home to read Megillah for them.
The time a minyan is most important is if someone is in Yerushalayim on the year of Purim Meshulash, when we don't read Purim, when we don't read the Megillah on the right day. Then there's a lot of opinions that hold one has to have a minyan.
Oh,
so we'll see that when we get to it. But yeah, sorry, I forgot that. That's the main reason for my suggestion I gave, that Megillah doesn't need a minyan. Right? Parshas Zohar needs a minyan, Megillah doesn't need a minyan. Yes, of course. Simchot Yud Zayin. Right, here we're talking about someone who there's no way he can come to a place with a minyan for Parshas Zohar. There's no way. So the Ramah says at least he should read it by himself with the correct tunes, the correct musical notes. The Mishnah says on that. He should read it from a Sefer Torah. If he hasn't got a minyan, he should read it from a Sefer Torah with the correct musical notes. Some people say that you should read Zeicher with a Seiri under the Zayin. Zecher Amalek, Segel under the Zayin. Therefore, it's correct, which is I think every place I've been is definitely no to do this, that they read Timchas Zeicher Amalek, and then they read it again as Zecher Amalek. There's a difference in Minhagim. Some just read those words twice, Timchas Zeicher, Timchas Zecher, Timchas Zeicher Amalek, Timchas Zecher Amalek, and some read the whole posuk a second time. Kosav Maharil, B'chol Dalet Parashiyos, Ein Mazkirin Neshomes. This was relevant yesterday, and it's going to be relevant again for next few weeks. That on the Shabbos of the 4 parashas, we're not meskim the shomos, we don't do Kehilla Keren, we don't say of harachamim, like we leave that out. V'omrim tzutz, we taste tzidkos tzedek, right? Tzidkos in mincha, and that we do say.
We do say those.
Yes. So ein maskim the shomos is Kehilla Keren to mention shomos 15. It's going to talk about avarachamim in a minute. We do say tzidkoscha. Uleinin avarachamim be'eli rabbi b'sheim. I think I got his maimon. Di'eshloima bohem avarachamim. That one should say avarachamim, but dakemesh b'sheim marim mashma de'emim bohem avarachamim. So he brings a machlokes if one should say avarachamim or not. V'chein hetek b'derech hachayim, and derech hachayim also says that the one should not say it, and that's how we know not to say avarachamim. Uleinin tanis shel shoyvevim tat ayin bebehete v'shari tshuva. Those who fast shoyvevim. Okay, that's not so relevant for us. Let's continue. So if 1 second, we're done. Next siman. Siman Tov Reish Pei Vav.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did I miss it, or did he not raise the issue of whether women are supposed to hear Parshas?
You didn't miss it. He didn't raise the issue. He didn't raise the issue. There's a machlokes if women are chayav or not. Where I was brought up, when it was women were very much they have to go.
They did.
That's how they know to do. As far as I understand, women are knowing to hear it.
Right.
But there is more room to be making on a woman than on a man. But
right.
Yeah. From your experience as well, but
same. Yeah. Although I've heard otherwise, so I thought I'd get your opinion.
Siman Tov Reish Pei Vav. Din Tanis Esther v'Gimus Ife. The halachos of Tanis Esther. Aleph. B'Chanukah Purim mutar lis'anus lifnei malachayim. On Chanukah and Purim, one's allowed to fast the day before and the day after. Hine yesh nagim lis'anus lifnei Chanukah tmuas erev Rosh Chodesh Bein Lishanis Min Hogam. Some are nohig to fast on Erev Chanukah in place of Erev Rosh Chodesh, because Erev Rosh Chodesh, Erev Rosh Chodesh falls on Chanukah. So people who fast every Erev Rosh Chodesh, they fast on Erev Chanukah in place of Erev Rosh Chodesh, and one should not change from this minhag. And lechatchila lo yinhoi V'al kol ponim also ligzo boitanis sibul. However, it's preferable that one should not do this, and definitely one should not fix the tanis sibul for Erev Chanukah. Chen yom rishon da'achar Chanukah, after Yochid Mutar Lisanis Bo, tanis sibul also ligzo bo. Also, the first day after Chanukah, even though an individual may fast on the day after Chanukah, one should not fix a communal fast for the day after Chanukah. Okay, Seif Beis. Mis'anim b'yud gimel ba'adar. We fast on the 13th of Adar. V'imchol Purim be'echad b'Shabbos makdim lis'anus b'yom chamishi. If Purim falls on Erev Shabbos, then we bring the fast forward to Thursday, because we can't fast on Shabbos. It's not an obligation. Therefore, one can be makil in the cases where it's necessary. For example, for pregnant women, for nursing mothers, or even an ill person, even if he's not at risk. His eyes hurt. It could be referring to migraines. If they have a lot of pain, then they shouldn't fast. They should make up the fast afterwards. We'll see in the Mishnah about this, about making up the fast. But all healthy people should not separate from the tzibur. They should fast like everyone else. If Purim falls on Sunday, in which case it's muktim, it's brought forward. We fast on the Thursday beforehand. And bris milah falls. And there's a bris milah on that Thursday of the early Tanis Esther. One can eat for the bris milah, have the bris milah. And the people who ate should fast on the next day, on Friday. Let's see the Mishnah. As they've gotten base, we'll see all the details in the Mishnah. Mis'anin b'yud gimel b'adar, ki b'mei Mordechai ve'Esther nikhalu b'yom yud gimel b'adar. In the days of Mordechai and Esther, they all gathered together on the 13th of Adar to fight. The 13th was the day of the war, the day of the battle. And they had to request mercy from Hashem, that Hashem should help them to beat the enemies. The Jews would fast on a day of war. Moshe Rabbeinu fasted on the day when he fought with Amalek. And even in the day, and therefore, certainly in the days of Mordechai, they also fasted on that day. This is why all of Yisrael were noheg to fast on the 13th of Adar. And it's to make it for us to remember that Kodesh Baruch Hu sees and hears everyone at the time of his tzor, at the time of his distress. Kasher Yis'ana, when he fasts for Yoshev Hashem b'chol levovo, and he does teshuvah, he returns to Hashem with all his heart. K'moshe also b'yom mahim, like they did in those days. If one does teshuvah, then Kodesh Baruch Hu forgives them. It's very different from all the other fasts. All the other fasts are very sad fasts, right? Very sad. Yeah. 4 fasts. Asar B'Tevis, Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, Tisha B'Av, Tzom Gedalia, all about the Churban Beit HaMikdash. This is very different. It's not a sad fast. It's a very happy fast. It's the realization that whenever we're in distress, if we fast, daven, and we do teshuvah and return to Hashem, Hashem will always save us. Sivkot Gimel is anish b'yom hei. Aber b'erev Shabbos ein koivim tanis batchila b'pnei kvoid HaShabbos. Lefi sheregilim b'tanis lo yimar slichos v'tachanunim. The reason why we didn't fast on Erev Shabbos is because of Kovod Shabbos, because we can't say we can't say Slichas and Tachanunim on Erev Shabbos. There won't be any time to prepare for Shabbos. He's someone who was traveling, and he forgot to fast on Thursday. He arrived home Friday, and he suddenly realized everyone fasted the previous day. So he arrived Thursday night, he arrived in his house. And he heard that everyone fasted on that day. He should fast the next day on Friday. Maril lo hoyo magid halacha b'tanis Esther. The Maril lo hoyo magid halacha b'tanis Esther mipnei shetudim nikloi sochi Purim. He wouldn't give his regular share on Tanis Esther because people were busy buying their needs for Purim. Im lo k'shechol Purim b'yom Aleph, unless Purim fell on Sunday. V'choseb Eli Rabbi. Because if Purim fell on Sunday, then Tanis Esther is obviously 3 days before. The aim is called kach bitul tzorchei su'uda. So this is talking about the yeshiva. This is talking about the share. But for each individual learning in the Beis HaMedrash, this is not such a. He can manage both. He can manage to do his regular learning and still to buy the Tzorchei Su'uda. Ve'in omim tzidkoscha b'oisa Shabbos shechol Purim l'macha. Maybe limud yeshiva. The intention is the whole day. Maybe limud yeshiva is someone who's all day in the yeshiva. Whereas limud hakavua b'beis hamedrash is talking about his fixed time. He has an hour share a day. That's probably the difference. It's a shorter amount of time. Ve'ein omim tzidkoscha b'oisa Shabbos shechol Purim l'macha. K'mo she'ein omim tachanunim be'erev Purim. We don't say tzidkoscha on that Shabbos. That Purim falls the next day, the day before Purim. The same way we don't say Tachanun on Erev Purim. Right? Mincha of Purim we don't say, Mincha on Erev Purim we don't say Tachanun. So too, the Mincha of Shabbos before Purim, if Purim's the next day, one doesn't say Tzidkoscha. Kach ein oimrim Tziduk Hadin Shu'erev Purim. So one also doesn't say Tzidkoscha. Tzidkoscha is like Tziduk Hadin. It's justifying the same way as if someone a close relative dies, he says something called tziduk hadin to justify the judgment of Hashem. Hashem decided to take this person from us. Tzidkoscha is also, it's a communal tziduk hadin because there were 3 tzaddikim who died on Erev Shabbos. Yosef, David, and Moshe, I think.
David is Motzei Shabbos.
It's a machloek exactly when he died. According to this medrash, he died on Shabbos. Died on Shabbos. Yeah, according to this medrash, he died on Shabbos. There is a difference of opinion. They do talk about it then when he actually died. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So we've got in Dalet, Mitztarim. They koya koya ve'inayim. When it says there has to be that the Mitztarim help, they're in great pain. This is talking about someone who has eyesight, which is possibly referring to a migraine, as a severe migraine. But the two cases, the case beforehand, the pregnant woman, even if she's not in pain, she doesn't have to fast. Even Eliyahu who's machmir for muberes, however, for yoledes, someone who's given birth, within a month after giving birth, even he is mekel, even if she's not Mr. Harabeth. In Eretz Yisrael, the minhag is to be mekel with pregnant women and yoledes. They don't fast at all. Sivkot and Hey. V'yifru achar kach. La'yishos Yaakov hanam mistabot deloi koidov azeh rak al-koya ve'inayim. But it says that one should repay the tanis afterwards. One should, if one was ill and therefore didn't fast, one should have to fast another day in place of it. This is he said this is presumably only going on the case of the person who was ill, not on the case of the muberes, not on the case of the pregnant woman. He should really be part of the tzibur. It's just we let him off because he's in pain. And therefore, after the pain goes, you should make up the tanis. Whereas a pregnant woman and a nursing woman, the paturis be'etzem afilon einon mitztaros, who are potter even if they're not mitztar, even if they're not in pain. If a woman who's nursing or is pregnant, he doesn't have to make it up afterwards. However, we bring the Bach. The Bach in the Bach is not mashma that way. So the Bach is mashma, and that they should make it up. As far as I'm aware, we're not noyeg to make up the fast. Yeah, I already heard the bottom that my Rosh Kodesh said that the minhag is not to be poyem. We don't make up fasts. We don't make up the Tanis Esther if it's missed. Let's continue.
This fast or all fasts? You know. We can deal with that later.
I mean, definitely with Mubarak, nursing women and pregnant women don't make up at all, that's for sure.
I thought there was one of the makeups was to give tzedakah for some people.
Right, that we usually do. And nowadays we do that often in place of fast because we find fast very difficult.
Right.
So we give tzedakah in place.
Right.
To fill and fall on the ground, people are like to.
Some people can't make. Also, some people can't make it up, but they have a chronic illness and they'll never make it up.
I'm not aware of I've never heard of anyone making up a fast. I'm not sure if that's a halacha or not. The one doesn't need to, but I've never come across this. One doesn't need to make up a fast. So if cotton vav. Lo yifashu. So even someone who's traveling and the same is difficult for the fast is difficult for him, however he should fast. Right? One shouldn't separate from the but one should fast even if he's traveling, he should fast. So Cotton Zayin, we're talking about bris milah. Everyone invited to the Suda can eat in the bris milah. We're talking here about the Tanis Esther Muktim, where it's brought early to Thursday. Everyone invited to the Suda can eat. Even more than 10 people. They can even eat in the morning before the Suda. They should all make it up the next day. And they say that no, once it's brought forward to Thursday, the day is Thursday, it has to be done on Thursday, and therefore the Suda should be done at night, like we do on another fast. Right? Even though the meal is done at the day, they start the Suda after the fast ends at night. And that's what the Tazan Rabbi Eliezer should do. Even in this case where it's a Tanis Esther Muktim, one should bring it forward early. The Baalei Bris themselves, they can eat they can eat on Thursdays after the Milah. They don't need to fast the next day. The Baalei Bris are generally defined as the parents of the baby and the sons. And the Moil, I think, as well is included. You think it's not included here?
Definitely the Sunday.
I think the Moil as well is also included. Right, so he brings that some opinions say that one can do it on the day of Tanis Esther itself if Tanis Esther is Muktim.
Do you say Tachnan if the Moil is in the community?
No, you don't say Tachnan.
You don't? Right, okay.
Right. Okay, that's it. We're done. That's exactly what I was doing.